Hello, what's up, and welcome to the Engineered Life channel where we talk what engineering is all about. And today I am going to take you through my journey through engineering school by showing you my transcript. Yes, my actual transcript with my actual grades and the actual classes that I took. So I hope you guys stick around and kind of check it out, because I just want to give you guys a rough idea of what engineering school and specifically what mechanical engineering is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and splice in and show you guys what my transcript looks like. Stick around. Hey guys, so I just wanted to quickly show you guys what my transcript looked like for my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I just thought I would run you guys through some of the courses that I took and kind of explain them, so you guys can get an idea of the types of courses you will take if you are in mechanical engineering, and also just kind of what they involve and what you will learn in kind of each of them. So starting in fall of 2015, I began my degree at Wright State University. Now previously I had a lot of credits. If I scroll up here, I had a lot of post-secondary credits that I took even before I came to college. But those were just gen ed courses, okay? So here we go. Here is my freshman year, right here at the top for fall 2015. And for a lot of you guys, are going to start off kind of taking introductory courses and some gen eds. So I had to finish up some myself as well. So we took general chemistry, which you're probably going to have to take unless you test out taking AP chemistry in high school. Um, so chemistry is pretty much all about breaking things down into elements and understanding what elements are and atoms and how you can have compounds. And lab is making different chemicals and following directions for the most part. And then you take your gen eds. I took um, Western Civilization to 1500s, and then I took these introductory engineering courses. So the first one was an honors course, but every engineering student had to take this course. It's called Intro to Math for Engineering Application. And now this was a Wright State specific class, but it basically refreshed and reviewed topics of trigonometry and a little bit of calculus and a little bit of differential equations, and applied it to some engineering like situations, and it was kind of just like an introduction to engineering. Um, this other course here, engineering design and solid model, that was a SolidWorks class, which is a 3D modeling software for making engineering parts. Okay, so that was my fall semester, very first semester there, and then we jumped into my spring semester in 2016, and we were taking engineering program with MATLAB. So MATLAB is simply a coding platform that a lot of engineers use to make scripts and programs to do a whole list of things. It could be analyzing data or generating or using equations to generate data. So that's just a coding class. Calculus is your math class. Nothing really to be explained there. Another gen ed, music and Western culture. And then in the spring, I started taking my physics classes. So physics is all about the study of things in motion. So if you kick a ball um, and the ball goes flying across the field, then we study that motion using physics. And all it is applying some math equations to stuff in motion. Um, and then I took another gen ed, and that was all for my second semester. So first two semesters were very just introductory, not necessarily any engineering, just taking some math classes and physics classes. In the fall of 2016, so my second year at university, this is when I started to get a little bit more into my engineering classes. So I took statics. Now, statics is a class that basically studies an object that is static but has forces on it. So you have to analyze the forces that are going through these static bodies. And it uses a little bit of your physics knowledge, and it's a lot of drawing free body diagrams. And I also took Structures and Properties of Materials 1, and that was a combination of chemistry and just understanding kind of a grain structure and strain and stress of materials. So it started combining chemistry with engineering. I also took thermodynamics, and thermodynamics is the study of um, basically, I guess, how much heat is in a system and how to determine that. So that's what thermodynamics is. It's all about kind of like heat. And then I took Calculus 2 and I took Physics 2. Again, they were just the next step for those physics and those calculus classes. Now, for spring 2017, fourth semester, we get into a little bit of circuit analysis, which is basically just an electrical engineering class that's studying circuits and how electricity flows through circuits, how to make circuits and design them. I took an internship class, which just taught you how to get an internship. And that summer, I actually obtained an internship, but I will make a separate video about that. Some more gen ed classes. Tai Chi, I didn't end up taking it. Um, Dynamics, which is, again, it's pretty much just physics. You know, it's a study of things in motion. So it's, again, pretty much another physics class. I also took mechanics of materials, and that was kind of a progression of that structure and property of materials. And mechanics of materials was a lot of like bending, cantilever beams, and kind of an introduction into mechanical design. Then I took um, honors calculus 2. I retook that calculus class because I wasn't doing so well in the first calculus 2, and so I dropped it and I retook it again as an honors course, and I passed with a B. So for those of you guys out there that are having trouble with classes, don't feel discouraged. As you can see, I have decent grades, but everyone um, fails. You know, everyone goes through something difficult. So if you're not doing well, it's okay. Just go ahead and retake it. I had a friend that retook a class like 4 or 5 times before he passed it. But you know what? He just stuck with it and he got it done. And we both ended up graduating at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna move right along. We took a summer class, which was just my internship actually. That's just my internship right there that I took that summer. Okay, and then we came back for my third year, and this is where we really got into all engineering classes. And I wasn't taking any general eds from this point on. So we have fluid dynamics. Fluid dynamics is the study of fluids in motion. So dynamics was just a study of things in motion in general. Fluid dynamics was fluids in motion, and this included a lot of aerodynamics, such as like air in motion, or it was a fluid or water flowing through a pipe or down a river or something flowing around a car. So it was kind of like aerodynamics, and so you're just studying the motion of fluid flowing through something. I also took mechanical design 1, which was basically a class in which showed you how to find the stresses and I guess the failure points of different loaded objects in different objects with different like geometry. So we did like cantilever beams, we did loads for like buckling and really just figuring out when and where is a part going to fail. That's pretty much what mechanical design is, and that's kind of the biggest part of engineering is just learning where something is going to fail so that you can fix it. Basically, an engineer is determining how to make a design that won't fail. Machining is pretty straightforward. It was just a lab class in which we made parts in the machine shop, and we kind of explained the efficiencies of the machines and like how much time it would take and use a lot of equations for that. So it was part lecture, part lab. Calculus 3 was the last calculus that you had to take as a mechanical engineer. And that was honestly probably the easiest calculus. I think calculus 2 was the most difficult. And then I also took differential equations, um, which was challenging because I had a very difficult professor. Plenty stories about that, but basically this professor was he was very intelligent, but he didn't know how to explain and break down the material for the students. So he got really frustrated whenever we had questions, and so it was not a very good learning environment. So I did not do so well in that, but we did pass. And then in the spring of 2018, I did the statistics for engineers, which is just a stats course. So, just basically determining um, the statistics for making parts and, out of how many parts will something be bad or not work. I also did system dynamics. System dynamics was like dynamics, but okay, you need to think of what if you have multiple parts in motion and they're all interacting with each other. So that was more system dynamics. It was more like complex systems in motion and interrelated. I also took heat transfer, which was a little bit like thermodynamics, but instead of just determining the amount of heat in a system, heat transfer was the study about how heat is transferred from one system to another. And so basically you only have conduction, convection, and radiation. And it was basically just studying how that works out and how to calculate how much heat is transferred. And metal forming was, how to form metal, what are the different processes, what are the equations to explain losses, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then we move into my very final year after my summer. In my summer, I was just taking some like technical electives and some requirements for my senior year. So I took engineering and experimentation. That was just a class about um, how to work in a lab, pretty much, and how to conduct experiments and how to write a report. Additive manufacturing was about 3D printing, pretty much both metal and plastics, and it went through all the different processes and methods. I took my last Gen Ed right here and another Tech Elec and got those knocked out of the way. And then we move down into my final semester, which um, was pretty simple at the time. The main thing was my senior design, but let me go through the other classes first. So I needed to finish up my tech elects, or technical electives. So I took energy materials, and that was the study of basically anything that produces energy. So wind energy, solar energy, hydro, um, batteries, how to store energy, basically anything that had to do with energy creation and storage is what we talked about in this class. Also took mechanical and materials testing lab, and that was just a lab course that I needed to take as a technical elective. Just showed how to use some testing machines, and that was pretty much it. I also took corrosion. Corrosion was simply the study of corrosion. Over time stuff corrodes, and we just pretty much explained why. And it's all based on chemistry and an oxidation reduction reaction. It's pretty simple, but it gets really in depth for how they calculate it for different materials and different products. So that was interesting. And then I started my capstone design or my senior design. Um, for your senior design, you could do a whole range of projects. And I think this was my favorite class because I finally got to do what I really wanted to come to college for in the first place. And so my senior design was to build a four-wheeled vehicle from scratch. I did the SAE Baja competition, and so I basically put together a team for that um, because there wasn't a lot of interest in that project by the time I became a senior. So I pretty much put together the team for that, and we worked on that for a very long time, and it was a lot of work. We were all putting in a lot of hours, and then as you can see, my last semester was only my capstone design, my senior design, which was good because, like I said, we were putting a lot of time into this, and because we were making this vehicle from scratch, there's just a lot you need to do. We were buying the tubing, bending the tubing, doing all the processes that you can possibly think of in order to create a vehicle from scratch. And so on average, I would say I was spending maybe 30 to 40 hours a week to complete the senior design, but that doesn't necessarily mean if you go through college and you pick your senior design, you're going to be spending that much time. You could possibly choose something that's a little bit easier and a little bit more straightforward. So um, that is that is my entire college experience. That is all the classes that I have taken. Now, if any of those classes you have questions about, um, let me know, and I will give you some more information on that. And if a class sounds interesting, again, let me know, and I will go ahead and give you additional information for all those things. Um, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys got to see exactly what you're going to do if you become a mechanical engineer. Now, if you do a different kind of engineering, you are probably going to have a different class structure. But what you can do is, and this is what I did before I got into college, you can go to your university website and whatever university you're going to, and you can search up your major and you download the basically course track and all the classes that you need to take. And then you can Google those classes and, start to get an idea of what those classes are. And that can help you kind of decide what part of engineering that you really want to do and really want to be a part of. So, anyways, I hope that helps you guys out a little bit in deciding. And if you have any questions, leave in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video real soon. Peace.